Assassin's Creed at its core is a stealth series, and there have been many different stealth systems throughout the franchise's history. Some good, some great, some bad, some absolutely terrible. So today we're going to look through the stealth systems as Mirage is on the horizon, promising to bring back some great stealth. And we're going to see which games in the franchise have done it the best so far. Before we get into the video, please do hit like, and if you're new here, hit subscribe with post notifications turned on. And without further ado, let's rank the stealth systems in Assassin's Creed. Valhalla attempted to integrate a stealth system into its Viking-themed world. However, despite its ambitious intentions, the stealth mechanics in Valhalla ultimately fell short, leaving stealth enthusiasts and fans of the series disappointed. One of the glaring issues with Valhalla's stealth system was its lack of refinement. The controls and feedback felt clunky and unresponsive, making it difficult to execute precise movements and actions when attempting stealthy approaches. The lack of fluidity diminishes the sense of control and undermines the immersion, leading to frustrating experiences. This was made worse by the behavior of the enemy AI, which in Valhalla was inconsistent at best. At times, foes exhibit keen senses, noticing the player from impossible distances or detecting them instantly, making stealth approaches nearly impossible. But then without clear explanation, enemies occasionally display baffling ignorance, failing to respond to blatant disturbances or even noticing fallen comrades. This inconsistency breaks the suspension of disbelief and makes it hard to strategize effectively. Valhalla also offered a disappointingly limited array of stealth tools and abilities. A lack of diversity hampered the player's ability to experiment and adapt to different situations creatively. The absence of gadgets and techniques that were present in previous Assassin's Creed titles narrowed down the possibilities for engaging in stealthy gameplay, resulting in a repetitive and monotonous experience. The level design in Valhalla didn't help here, as the vast open world environments weren't conducive to stealthy approaches, with wide open spaces lacking sufficient cover and hiding spots. The lack of verticality in cramped interior spaces also limited the opportunities for engaging in stealth tactics, leaving players feeling constrained and frustrated. Overall, Valhalla offered little incentive for players to invest time and effort in mastering the stealth mechanic. The rewards for successfully executing stealthy takedowns and remaining undetected were often minimal and failed to provide a sense of accomplishment. And without meaningful incentives, the motivation to engage in stealth gameplay diminished, and players were inclined to resort to more direct and less nuanced approaches, which they were actively encouraged to do throughout the entire game. Despite promising a return to social stealth, Valhalla cared much more about its Viking experience of cutting down Englishmen, and for that, it falls at the bottom of this list. Odyssey also attempted to incorporate a stealth system to provide players with covert options, however, these mechanics fell short of expectations. Similarly to Valhalla, Odyssey's stealth system lacked coherence and consistency. The game offered a blend of RPG and stealth elements, but these two aspects often clashed rather than synergized. The RPG-focused mechanics such as leveled enemies and damage calculations undermined the stealth experience time and time again, as one-hit kills and stealthy takedowns became an impossibility unless you were massively over-leveled. And even then, level scaling was on at all times, making it even more difficult to find an enemy you could take down in one hit. The enemy AI in Odyssey was also far from intelligent when it came to detecting the player character during stealth sequences. Although there's less obscene detections in Valhalla, the enemies still display a baffling amount of ignorance, failing to notice very obvious disturbances, which left a lack of challenge in the stealth. It's clear from the offset in Odyssey that combat is the preferred means of gameplay, as it's time and time again prioritized over the stealth mechanic. Alongside this, Odyssey also failed to reincorporate social stealth into the series, and lent too heavily on cookie-cutter stealth bandit camps that didn't really provide much in the way of variety, challenge, or uniqueness. There was definitely an opportunity for Odyssey to introduce unique stealth mechanics that would have aligned with the game's narrative and atmosphere, while still staying true to the series' identity. However, the half-baked implementation of stealth falls short, and it consistently feels disconnected from the game's core experience. It may come as a surprise that Assassin's Creed 2 would fall so low on this list, but honestly it didn't really make any upgrades in terms of stealth from its predecessor, and didn't do nearly enough to stand out in the series. One of the primary issues with Assassin's Creed 2 stealth is its lack of depth. The mechanics are simplistic and fail to offer the complexity and strategic options that one would expect from a game centered around stealth. The system relies heavily on basic mechanics such as hiding in crowds or blending with the environment, in a way that is stripped back and simplified in comparison with Assassin's Creed 1. This limited variety of stealth actions in Assassin's Creed 2 leads to repetitive gameplay, as the game heavily relies on standard assassination techniques, offering little in terms of innovative or creative option. This lack of diversity results in a formulaic and predictable stealth experience, diminishing the excitement and thrill that should accompany stealth gameplay. The risk-reward factor isn't there in the same way it is in Assassin's Creed 1, as you feel at all times completely in control of the environment around you, which is antithetical to the feeling that the assassin fantasy should bring. Outside of a few moments, very little time is spent in Assassin's Creed 2 scared of the consequences of being detected. And this is a real shame, because this missed opportunity for innovation failed to capitalize on Assassin's Creed 1's revolutionary ideas around stealth, and it was very clearly simplified and generalized for a wider audience. Although AC2 upgraded on its predecessor in so many ways, stealth just wasn't one of them. The first Assassin's Creed introduced a novel concept of social stealth that aimed to immerse players in the intricate web of social interactions during the Third Crusade, and while it was a commendable attempt, the execution wasn't quite perfected, because of course it was the first game. Conceptually, social stealth in the first game was fantastic, as the world around the player actually responded to the player's actions, depending on whether they were socially acceptable or not. However, this was the single only stealth mechanic in the entire game. Blending into groups of monks and staying low profile is a fantastic immersive fantasy. However, when it's the only thing you do throughout the entire game, it can get slightly repetitive. The lack of variety, tools, or tactics you could use in Assassin's Creed 1 to encounter an enemy stealthily brings it down from being higher on this list. It also doesn't help that the AI of the NPCs wasn't entirely consistent, or at the very least they were unrealistic. Enemies would sometimes completely ignore Altair, even if he was suspiciously walking through their midst, and this made the social stealth mechanic at times feel a bit superficial and undermined the sense of challenge and tension it was meant to create. That being said, one of the things that AC1 did perfectly was creating genuine consequences for being detected, as the combat system was punishing and it encouraged the player to run away and escape, meaning that engaging in the social stealth mechanic became the prioritized playstyle in all situations, something which later games fail to do. I absolutely adore Assassin's Creed 1, however there are still some elements of it that were fairly bare bones considering it was the first game in the series, and for that it just can't be higher on this list. Although at times neglecting social stealth, Assassin's Creed 3 definitely improved the stealth options of the series for the player. The game introduced new tools and abilities that expanded the player's stealth arsenal, including items such as the rope dart, the bow and arrow, and the whistling mechanic. New options which provided opportunities for creative and satisfying approaches, enhancing the player's ability to navigate and engage with the game world stealthily. The game also offered several well-crafted missions and sequences that would encourage and reward stealthy gameplay. And when the game's missions were designed to showcase the potential of this stealth system, it really did glow, and created some of the game's most memorable moments. However, the majority of Assassin's Creed 3 still does encourage combat over stealth. For every mission designed to create that blade in the crowd fantasy, there's 4 or 5 where you're led out on a battlefield in the American Revolution. The overall world and level design in Assassin's Creed 3 also posed some limitations for stealth gameplay, especially in the frontier, which was a wide open space with very few cover opportunities and even fewer crowds to blend in with. While the introduction of new tools and abilities was appreciated, Assassin's Creed 3 missed an opportunity to introduce a truly groundbreaking mechanic that could have set the game apart from its predecessors. As a result, the stealth system still felt somewhat derivative and lacked the freshness and innovation that fans hoped for. AC4 and Assassin's Creed Rogue both released after Assassin's Creed 3 and addressed many of the shortcomings of their predecessor, and introduced improvements to the stealth mechanics, resulting in a more refined and satisfying experience. The games had enhanced controls and responsiveness, providing players with a more responsive and fluid movement during stealth gameplay. Navigating the environment, executing stealthy takedowns, and performing precise actions felt more intuitive and polished, allowing for greater immersion and a better sense of control. The enemy AI in both Assassin's Creed 4 and Rogue also displayed more consistent behaviour, enhancing the strategic depth of stealth encounters. Although the enemies were, for lack of a better word, stupid, they were incredibly consistent in their actions, allowing the players to manipulate them and control them using their myriad of tools and weapons. AC4 and Rogue offered a wide diversity of stealth options, allowing players to approach missions and encounters with greater versatility and creativity. The blow darts, Shay's air rifle, and of course the whistling and the hiding spots helped massively in this regard. AC4 and Rogue as well introduced more intricate and thoughtfully designed stealth missions in comparison to their predecessor, providing players with engaging scenarios to test their stealth skills. The level design in these games suited the stealth gameplay better, as it included in AC4's case sprawling jungles with plenty of bushes and shrubbery, and in Rogue's case dense cities. Although it still wasn't perfect, Assassin's Creed 4 and Rogue both took the system that AC3 implemented and improved upon it massively. Although Brotherhood and Revelations took a step in a different direction in comparison to Assassin's Creed 1 and 2, I would say that they both demonstrated remarkable improvements to the finesse of the franchise's stealth system. These entries in the series built upon their predecessors' foundations whilst offering players a rich and wider stealth experience that was both immersive and captivating. Firstly, the controls for stealth actions at this point were incomparably refined and responsive, enhancing the player's sense of control and fluidity. Maneuvering through the game world, executing precise assassinations, and blending seamlessly with crowds felt effortless, allowing players to fully immerse themselves in the role of an agile and deadly assassin. This was also aided with the introduction of the recruit mechanic, which allowed players to call upon a group of skilled allies, which expanded the strategic options available during stealth missions. The missions themselves were also designed in a way that prioritized stealth once again, and provided more open black boxes, which were far more limited in Assassin's Creed 2. Perhaps most importantly though, Brotherhood and Revelations introduced a range of innovative tools and gadgets that enhanced the experience, such as poison darts, smoke bombs, tripwire bombs. In fact, I could talk about the bombs in Revelations for like an hour, and that's not to mention the crossbow and the parachutes on top of everything. Brotherhood and Revelations took a step out of what the series had set up prior, I won't deny that, and it was the first time that these games truly felt like they were stealth-focused games, in the same vein as the likes of Hitman and Metal Gear Solid, and the system is too functionally sound to put it any lower on this list. Although Assassin's Creed Origins completely did away with social stealth, it absolutely perfected environmental stealth in this series. And although that was dependent on whether you had upgraded your fucking hidden blade, it doesn't matter, because given you've played the game in a way that allows for one-hit assassinations, the dynamic stealth gameplay of Origins is satisfying to no avail. The way you can manipulate the day-night cycle, the guard shift patterns, and the NPC's habits to your advantage is masterful, and allows genuine and diverse strategic options. The meticulously crafted world also serves as an immersive playground for stealth gameplay, with attention to detail in the level design that allows for strategic navigation, providing players with a sense of immersion and authenticity. On top of that, Origins widened the diverse selection of stealth tools and abilities more than any game before it, and included unique elements such as poisoning already dead enemies, a new and relatively changed smoke bomb mechanic, and a bow and arrow that allowed for different playstyle. It would be too far to say Origins revolutionized the stealth system of the franchise, but it definitely made positive improvements all round, maintaining the realism of stealth from past games, whilst including new elements that actually added on and improved the experience. If you need to explain to you as to why Assassin's Creed Unity has some of the best stealth in the franchise, it would be much easier to do that by simply showing you a stealth reaper of the game. Unity took the social stealth mechanic, combined it with environmental stealth, and then shoved that hybrid into meticulously, fantastically designed black box stealth missions. The entire game, from start to finish, presents stealth as the #1 playstyle, the only true playstyle to get through the game. And near enough every single mission is designed with that in mind. Although on release, due to the bugs, the detection system was a little bit fucked, it has definitely been improved upon. And although to this day it's still not perfect, it's honestly better than a lot of the detection systems we've seen in the other games anyway. The bombs, the phantom blades, the guard AI, the crowds, the unique kill opportunities. Do I need to say more? Assassin's Creed Unity was the first game in the franchise that truly made a stealth reaper run through not only a viable option, but the best option for a player. However, Assassin's Creed Syndicate took what Unity did and improved upon it, which it didn't do for any other mechanic, tragically. Assassin's Creed Syndicate built out wider black boxes, with more options, more variety, the option to whistle, a reintroduction of throwing knives, new types of bombs, and new abilities that improve the stealth experience. Although it's not quite as linearly focused on stealth throughout the main narrative, there are still countless black box missions that are designed with stealth as the priority. And these missions also include even more unique opportunities, the likes of which we've seen in the Hitman series. It is, in my opinion, the only thing that Assassin's Creed Syndicate did right, but it did it better than any other game in the franchise has done. It took the hybrid of social stealth and environmental stealth that Unity got so right, and then refined it out, perfected it, and presented a system that truly understood what it meant to be a blade in the crown. As much as I dislike Assassin's Creed Syndicate, it will always have a special place in my heart just for these missions. And for that reason, it sits at the top of this list, as the best stealth system in this entire franchise. Thank you so much for watching. If you did enjoy, make sure to hit like, and if you're new here, hit subscribe with post notifications turned on. Also comment down below and let me know what you think of the ranking, if you agree, disagree, what you think is the best stealth system in Assassin's Creed or just in games as a medium. I would love to find out. With all that being said, I've been Joe, aka Founder Scarab, and I will see you in the next one.